Hey, what's up? It's Emery. I am 26, FTM in the Bay Area. I've been on testosterone for about 2.5 years, and I am 1 year post-op. I have another video that I'll post talking about my top surgery and showing, but there's a little, that's what it looks like. This video is for an anonymous on Tumblr who's been very persistent about me making a video about this specific topic for them. So this person identifies as genderqueer. They were assigned female at birth. They enjoy their breasts, but they refer to their bottom area as male, like with male terms. They like being seen as female in certain situations, but others they like to be male or they feel male. That's fine. This is just one type of genderqueer person, assigned female at birth, and now wants to go on testosterone. I don't personally have a problem with that. I think that's not surprising, but I understand why the question comes up, because there are people who identify as genderqueer and FTM, and a lot of trans guys don't appreciate that, because the fear is that the person identifying as genderqueer and FTM is going to give a lot of people the idea that that's what trans men are, that they're not real men, they're kind of sort of on the male side of the spectrum, you know, but they're not men, and that's just not true. Personally, I always thought there was a difference between genderqueer and FTM, because FTM is a term used for males who are transsexual. They have, you know, they were assigned female at birth, but they're male, actually. And they go through a medical process to correct that. And then genderqueer, although it can be a gender, like the neutral gender, which can be difficult for some because you can't pick, you know, GQ. You have to pick M or F when it comes to bathrooms or driver's license, passport, those kind of things. But genderqueer can also be a gender identity, and I'm not so sure that FTM is usually considered a gender identity. I mean, people can identify as FTM. You can pretty much identify as whatever you want. I'm not saying that there's no such thing, or that it isn't, or it is, or whatever. But me personally, I am male, but in a safe space, in conversations, my internal sense of gender is a little queer. And that's for multiple reasons. It's my soul, it's the way I was raised, it's a lot of different things, but I don't really identify as genderqueer, because I think most people that are genderqueer are either genderqueer or a specific gender. At least that's the way it's been portrayed for many years on YouTube and in groups. And it depends on your company, it depends on who you're having the conversation with, but when it comes to like the public eye, I get why this question is being asked. The genderqueer person going on testosterone is probably afraid that it seems wrong because of the negative stuff that comes from the trans community, the FTM community, about genderqueer people being perceived as FTM. The issue that a lot of trans guys have is that, so there's this genderqueer person who is now on testosterone and identifying as FTM and portraying themselves with breasts and using gender-neutral pronouns and stuff like that, but identifying as FTM. And then they're leaving an impact on people who then have this idea of what an FTM is based on this version, based on this person who identifies as FTM but is genderqueer. So that makes a lot of guys feel insecure. They feel like it's not right, because then people are looking at them like they're not real men. But what this person is talking about is just being genderqueer and then having a testosterone-based system, which I don't think anybody is going to have a problem with. I think that you're endocrine system, like your hormonal system, is between you and your doctor and whoever you choose to share it with. If you're worried about testosterone and the effects it's going to have on you, they're pretty well displayed on YouTube, with a lot of guys going on hormone replacement therapy. They're well documented. You can Google all that stuff, but I don't think there's any reason that you should be afraid to be yourself. When it's like, if you're afraid of making people uncomfortable, there's always going to be someone who doesn't like how you are, who you are, what you identify as, it's your happiness and someone else's discomfort. And even when it comes to people who identify as FTM and genderqueer, if that's what makes you happy, if that's what keeps you out of a great depression and, keeps you from being suicidal, and that's how you feel you really are, then you should be that. But, it does make a lot of people uncomfortable. There's a lot of discussions about it all the time, with FTM standing for female toward male, and that's why it's genderqueer. But, most people think of FTM as female to male. And male is a gender. It's not a queer gender, it's a gender. It's not over here, it's over here. But internally, I know cis guys that even identify as genderqueer males. Because that's like an internal, that's just an intellectual conversation. That's not like your gender. It's like a feeling and a gender identity. And, sometimes they like to wear makeup, or they like to, do things with their partners in a way that isn't socially masculine, and so they consider themselves genderqueer. People identify however they want. But yeah, I don't think that there would be any reason why going on testosterone would be a problem unless it's a problem with your doctor and they want to diagnose you with gender identity disorder. There will probably be guys that say that the person who doesn't have gender identity disorder, or maybe they do, but they might say that you don't because you're not transsexual, you're genderqueer, and you're like taking it from the guys that do have gender identity disorder. But that's not true. There's not like a, drought of tea going on. So anyway, I gotta go to dinner. Happy birthday to me with my chest. What do they call that? Surgery day? I don't know. I love you guys, and I hope I didn't just cause a riot.